Yeah.
Okay, I would like to call this regular meeting of council to order. First item that I'll mention to everyone that's here, that we were supposed to start at 5 and then go immediately to in camera. We didn't have a quorum, so what we've done now is we'll open the meeting at 7 o'clock and we will move in camera till after the regular meeting. And if we are able to do that, we will do that. Okay, so with that alteration, I guess I need a motion so that we do that. Okay, so it's moved by Moore, seconded by Spearn. All right, all in favor? Thanks. Carried. So now that we are at the public meeting, the first item is public input period. If there's anyone that wishes to address council at this time that is not on the agenda, please come forward. I don't see anyone that is not on the agenda, so we'll move right along. Motion to adopt the agenda, moved by Moore, seconded by Fisher. Discussion on the agenda. All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Adoption of the minutes. Motion that the minutes of the regular meeting of council on the 14th be adopted as a mover. Moved by Spearn, seconded by Fisher. Discussion on those minutes. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. A motion that the minutes of the public hearing held on the 14th, public hearing on the 14th be adopted. Moved by Spearn, seconded by Moore. Discussion on those. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Minutes of the special meeting of council on the 22nd be adopted. Moved by Moore, seconded by Spearn. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Petitions and delegations. The first delegation is Ms. Mish Warwick. Sorry, Warwick.
Okay.
Of the Red Mountain Market. Roslyn Mountain Market, sorry, if you come forward and you have our ear.
All right, I won't take much of it.
It's great.
All right, thank you.
Are we
Reach that
just
far.
coming down?
Cardio is Q.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say a quick hello and then we can do that.
Are you
All
using
right.
the screen?
Yeah, I have a video to show you.
Yeah, oh, that's right. We're just waiting for the screen to come down. All good.
Excuse me, so you didn't do the meeting at 5?
No, I'm on 4.
Didn't I ask you?
No, you did, but I didn't know. But did I tell you?
So did you just cancel it?
Yes.
Oh.
Right? Right. It's all good.
All right, I'll just start
Sure.
off by saying I'm Mish Warwick, and I am the manager of the Farmers Market. I started managing last year with Kaylee, and this year will be my second year. I'll be doing it by myself, hopefully with a good volunteer team in tow. My personal goal is to create the best source of local food that I can for our community. I believe that this is something really important, and I think it's something that we need. And I'm just here to talk a little bit about how to make that happen. Briefly, I just want to tell you that the Farmers Market started in 2008. Since then, we have doubled in size. We average 25 to 30 vendors per market. And during special events, we have upwards of 45 vendors, which is really exciting. We have a lot of special events planned for this year, which I'll talk about in a second. I'd like to show you the video now, if that's okay. This video was brought to me from Tourism Roslyn, from Deanne.
I'm sorry, this video was what?
It was given to me actually from Tourism Roslyn. They did it for us.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
It's too dark.
There's music, so I don't know if your volume's on. It might be loud. I don't know. while she's doing this, by the way, this is our new website. It's RosaliндMountainMarket.com. If you're ever curious about us or just what's going on, you can always come check out this website. It's chock full of information about what's happening this year.
That's where you think Roseanne, right? It's always slow in here.
It's kind of like watching the grass grow.
No kidding, so you can cut it again.
Where the tulips grow. Uh-oh.
Right. Oh, look at this piece of paper.
Connection earlier.
Mish, do you want to continue with your presentation?
Sure, yeah, I
You
can,
wanna try to get this up
for
and
sure.
running?
Well, next I was just gonna talk a little bit about what we have planned for the upcoming market season, because it's a little bit different than what we've normally done. We're planning some special events. Basically, we're trying to come up with ways to get more people out more often, get more people involved, and keep this consistent throughout the entire summer. So to do this, we're going to start on May 15th with our Garden Festival, which you guys know a little bit about because we asked permission to do that. So that's that. We're going to have a summer kickoff party June 5th for the first market. And then we're going to start something called the Third Thursday of the Month Festival Series, which will be on the third Thursday of each month. And each will be a different theme, and it will be based on a local food that will typically be harvesting during that month. So huckleberries, which is a really neat thing for Rosalind, tomatoes, corn, etc. During these events, we're going to have different activities going on, different food education things available for people and for kids, live music, contests. We're going to do recipe exchanges and cooking contests and different things like this. And then we'll do our second annual Harvest Festival on October 2nd to finish off the season. Is this working? Should we go with this right now?
Social event of the week. It's where everybody comes and hangs out and has a good time. You meet up with all your friends, and you sell really delicious stuff and eat other people's really delicious food, so it's a good time. It's also our attempt at a business, because we think that local food is the future. Local food is healthy, it builds community, it builds health, and it builds the local economy. And so we really think that we need to have farmers out there who are making money and making a good product. So we're trying to get on that train.
All right.
Carry on, Mish.
Okay, so another thing that we'll be doing this year, we sort of coined this the picnic table project. We are building a seating area at the market. We have a lot of our vendors serve ready-to-eat food, and with the music and everything, it's going to build a nice atmosphere. It's going to become a little bit more of a hangout. You know, your families will come to shop and to spend some time as well. So we're going to do that. That will involve local carpenters building tables, local artists painting tables. It's going to be a real community project, I hope. That's kind of neat. I just wanted to mention a lot of things that we're doing to boost attendance and community involvement. I think this is really important. We are working on getting our highway sign up and out. We're doing more advertising. We have the Third Thursday project. We're building the seating area. We're going to do taste testers at the market, contests, cookbook swaps, recipe giveaways. We're going to build a Roslyn Mountain Market recipe book. We're going to get more and more vendors offering more varieties of different things. Lots of different things coming to keep people interested all summer long. With that being said, I don't really have that much more to say. It's just sort of filling you guys in on what we're doing. I would like to personally invite each and every one of you to come down to the market, come check it out. I'll be there every single one. We're doing 18 this year. It's going to be great. Come find me. I'll give you a tour, introduce you to our seasoned vendors, the people who are there every single day giving us the stuff that we need and the stuff that we want. There are a couple things that I wanted to ask permission for just at the end. There's some special events listed. I did type up a summary, so it should all be there. For the special events, we would love to run them till 7 o'clock p.m. instead of 6 o'clock p.m. We would really enjoy to use the banner space where you can hang up a banner at St. Paul and Columbia Avenue. We have a banner that we could hang up there to help us advertise for the market all year. And we were curious to know if the city would have any type of storage that we might be able to use for our seating area furniture during the winter. So I'd just like to leave those thoughts with you.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you very much for the presentation. And your request here will come back to council at our next regular meeting?
Yeah.
Is that fine? And is there any questions of councillors to Mish? No, thank you very much. But I will say don't hold your breath on winter storage.
All right. It's okay. I have plenty of storage at my house.
If you have lots, let us know.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you. The next delegation is Roslyn Skate Park Association. Boys, you want to come forward? And are you using this?
Nope.
Perfect. I don't have to move that.
Well, I promise you, next time we come in front of council, we'll have a video of kids skating.
We can hardly wait.
Step up our act.
That'd be great.
Thanks very much. I'm Mary Crosby. I think I must be almost the board member of the Roslyn Skate Park.
I'm Robin Strachan, board member of Roslyn Skate Park.
Robin's the actual expert. I'm just a talker. So if you have any tough questions, Robin's going to answer them. And I'm going to engender them with a short presentation. It's been a while since we came before you, so in some sense this is just an update on where we are, but it also involves some requests at the end, as you've seen in the council package. But because it has been a while since I've been here, we thought we needed to give you a quick refresher on the mission, on our vision for a skate park in Roslyn. And it will be quick, I promise you. You have heard all this stuff before, but just this is by way of a reminder. So why do we want a skate park in Roslyn? 3 reasons. For the kids, as a form of economic development, and as the first step in our vision for development of the green space at the MCON lot. In terms of the kids, we've got a demonstrated need in this town. We've seen it in the surveys we've undertaken. You can see it every time you see kids skateboarding on the street. If those kids were playing soccer on the street, we'd build them a soccer pitch in a minute, right? We need a safe place for those kids to recreate. Not only do we need a safe place for them, but the fact of having a skate park in Roslyn gives a bunch of kids who are not inclined to team sports a place where they can pursue a sport of their choosing. Usually the kids that are skating are the kids that aren't caught up in all the organized sports that their parents drive them to. But if you put a skate park in your town, you're offering those kids a much healthier alternative, a safer alternative, and a way to challenge channel that energy into something that's far more appropriate. And if you see a well-running skate park, you're going to see older kids mentoring younger kids. You're going to see kids building up the kind of discipline that comes out of learning how to skate in those parks. You're going to see kids that are building up the same kind of values that you get out of participating in organized sport, but that wouldn't have taken place had you not put that facility there. In terms of economic development, our vision of the skate park is something that helps achieve Rossland's stated objective of creating a four-season community, a destination for tourists beyond the ski hill in the winter. It gives us one more amenity to add to the list of things that bring people to town, as residents, as visitors, and we've seen a big visitor culture associated already with the skate parks that are now constructed in the Kootenays. Putting this park as designed, as seen by you guys, in Rossland gives us a huge draw, because this is a world-class park. This is a park that stands out not only in the Kootenays but in BC. It's a destination. It also allows Rosslanders to stay in Rossland instead of driving their kids every weekend to distant parks around the Kootenays, spending their dollars there, wasting their time on the road. And plenty of parents do that. In terms of civic development, we see this thing, as I said, as the first step in greening that MCON lot. We see it as a beachhead in the kind of civic space that was envisioned in the Midtown transition plan, as laid out in the OCP, a civic space, a place that includes a gathering place for Rossland. This, as I said, is the first step in that direction. We have not laid out to you a concrete jungle. We laid out to you a vision that was landscaped, that was intentionally built so as to blend in with future uses of that park that are amenable to what's laid out in the OCP. And we see it as an important first step in that direction. Why the MCON lot? To refresh your memory on that, we did a survey of 40 other communities in British Columbia that had skate parks, and had the survey done by an objective third party, former Mayor Les Carter. He personally phoned and talked to at least one person in each community, sometimes several, from the RCMP to the school board to the civic council to the people that did the skate parks, and tried to get from them the lessons of experience in their parks, both positive and negative. The number one lesson that Les formulated from that experience, and there were many lessons, but the number one lesson was, put it central. Don't put it someplace where the kids feel like you put them in a backwater, or they will abuse it. It will become a party spot and a problem for your community. That was the number one lesson. The timeline I've laid out, or we've laid out for you in the council package, I won't go through bit by bit. I think we've all had time to read it. The reason we've put that almost 3-year timeline in there, in that rigorous schedule of events and public consultations, is to just establish the fact that we have done our homework here. We have got, if you could put it that way, a social license from this community. We have the support of this community in the siting of the skate park here and the construction of the skate park. And we see that not only as a result of our public meetings, we see that every day as people come to us and give us the donations, the proceeds of their kids' birthday parties, the proceeds of their kids' drama festivals. We see all these unsolicited donations coming into us in a way that, again, convinces us we're doing the right thing, we're on the right path. So where are we now on that path? We've given you a very rough breakdown budget here, and we'd be glad to go into the details with you, but essentially, in terms of process, we have completed the design and paid for it. It was done by Spectrum Skate Parks out of Vancouver, a world-class skate park company, responsible for some of the best skate parks in Canada. We've done a preliminary geotech assessment of the site. That's been completed. The total budget of this thing, as built and designed, is around $600,000. We have raised or committed $140,000 of that. We expect, and we've been talking to a lot of local suppliers, we expect to get another $200,000 or so of in-kind donations in terms of materials, time with machines and supplies, services. That leaves us with a funding gap of another $260,000. Now, we came to you, was about 1.5 years ago at this time, and got from you permission, a 2-year window in which to build a park in the MCON lot. That window expires at the end of this year. Given that we have that funding shortfall, we're not going to build it this summer, as envisioned. So our primary reason in coming to you, other than the joy of appearing before you on a regular basis, which is palpable, is to ask you for another 2-year window in which to raise the remaining funds in that gap make that skate park a viable thing. To run through quickly what that $140,000 raised budget consists of, $30,000 in cash on hand. This is money we have raised through fundraising events and will continue to raise. We continue to be active within the community, hosting fundraising dances, activities jointly hosted with Nelson and Trail Skate Parks, because we're in very close contact with them. $25,000 that was raised for the design already spent. CBT has committed $50,000. Tech has committed $10,000, as has the Nelson District Credit Union. Rotary, which has been our partner since the beginning on this thing, and has cited this as one of their primary partnership goals, has committed $15,000 over and above the $5,000 they already committed to the design process. These are the donations we have so far on record, and we're confident that if we do have another 2 years from you, we can pull together the remaining funds for this project and start building at that time. I'll leave it with you there, except to note that in case you have reservations about making a decision which runs another 2 years, and which may be potentially binding on a future council, in case that causes you problems, I just want to remind you that this is actually kind of presumptuous. I'm sure you know this better than I do. That's a normal process of politics. All the decisions you're making, or many of them in this council, are binding on future council. It's a matter of where you see your priorities sitting, and if you see them here, then you should feel free to make this commitment. If a future council decides that they see otherwise, they're easily able to rescind that commitment. I'll leave it with you there, and as I say, if you have any tough questions, Rob and Strachan will be happy to answer them for you.
Great, thanks for the presentation. Are there any questions, please, Councilor Moore?
Yeah, I just have one. I'd like to see the design. We may have seen it at one point, but I haven't seen it recently.
We should have brought that for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
just sometime bring it.
Yeah, and
bring
our
it through.
website is down, but yes, we can certainly email too. to
Okay,
council.
or if it's on the website, I can look it up there.
The
when you-
website's
down for the
right
moment,
now.
right, yeah, okay. And I had one other thing. I think it was the previous council that put in, that gave the commitment to give you the years to do it. It wasn't this council, it was the previous one.
Actually,
So
this council did. There was the
there was
first.
a previous one, and then this one did something too? So
Yeah,
it's been an
this
ongoing
council-
process for a number of
Yes,
years.
that's correct.
Right. Yeah.
This council gave us in 2011, this council granted us a 2-year window, and
It doesn't matter, I was just, my point was, it's just,
and then
it's already.
and then in 2012, it was extended 2 years to December 2014.
Yeah, okay, just that there has been a history of previous councils, it's been an
Yes,
ongoing
we started
thing.
this a long time
Right,
ago.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Not unprecedented.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any further questions? Thank you very much for the presentation. This will be coming back to council, as you're aware.
Thank you very
Thanks a
much.
lot.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the development permit application 913 Earl Street. I'm gonna say if Councillor Moore wishes to declare a conflict, then what I would like to do, with council's permission, is to move this later on in the agenda, if you're gonna declare a conflict, because then I know we could have another councillor here by then to do that.
Okay.
Either that, council, or we defer this to the next council meeting.
Okay.
It's council's decision. If you're declaring a conflict, then just say so, and we'll discuss whether we want to move it back, or you're not declaring a
Yeah.
conflict, or what.
Well, I think I do have a conflict in
Then
the
you should.
location, but the problem is I think there's a speaker here who says, may not want to be here for the whole meeting until the other councillor shows. When is the other councillor showing? Do we know?
Could be another 45 minutes. But I think, well, there's no delegation here.
I think there's a citizen that wants to speak, is the only thing, so I'm just,
But if you're declaring a conflict, then we can't have him speak, because we don't have a quorum. Right?
yeah. I mean, I think I have to declare a conflict, right?
Well, then you should.
Okay.
All right, so with that conflict, then it's up to us to decide if we want to move it back, or do you want to defer to a next meeting? Because there's no guarantee that by moving it back, we'll get to it anyway, because the car could break down in Rock Creek, who knows? Ms.
Your
Butler?
worship will have to wait until that counselor arrives before you can put it back on the table, so you don't have a quorum.
To even do
Yeah,
that?
as soon as I
To
leave.
even do that, okay.
Okay, so I don't need to do this, because I,
Well,
Or do-
we can't deal with the item tonight because we don't have a quorum. Is that
Okay.
the short and sweet of
But
it?
if the other
Quorum
counselor
shows
shows
up.
up, you will have a quorum, and then you could,
Go back to
We can bring it back, yes,
Yeah.
but we can't make a decision.
So
today.
there's no guarantees, put it that way.
There's no guarantees. Anyway, apologize,
Okay, well, should I wait in case?
I don't know that you were on the agenda to speak anyway, so.
no, he's talking to the, he can
50
speak
50
to
minutes.
No, not for a
to a variance.
No.
No, he can't? Oh, okay.
Yeah, only at the public input.
Okay, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not on the agenda to speak anyway, so,
Oh.
I mean, I'm usually a pretty nice guy and let people speak, but.
Yeah, but then he might have spoken at the public input, hadn't he have known?
Had he-
Yes, I agree with that totally.
Mhm. So,
So do you want to
we're not doing
perhaps
anything about it right now.
wait, if the citizen is willing to wait, if I leave, then you could give him a chance to speak.
But we don't have a quorum.
I know, but if she waits long enough to see if she
Can't do
shows
it.
up.
We don't have a quorum anyway. But,
Well, you will.
and what would he speak to, because he's not on the agenda, with all respect, I'm not picking on you. He's not on the agenda to speak, so,
But you were just saying you were
Public
such a nice
input.
guy.
yeah, I know,
It just
but,
said to show up at council today if I had any issues with the variance.
that would be at the public input period, and we're not there yet.
Oh,
Or not public input, sorry,
Public, you're talking about a public
Public.
hearing?
yeah, public hearing. So, the good news is, we aren't gonna be dealing with tonight anyway,
yeah.
so then it'll come back on another agenda. You can speak with staff and get on the agenda to speak as a delegation or whatever prior to the meeting, or not prior to the meeting, but as these people just spoke at,
Yeah.
delegation period. Is that all making sense to everybody?
Yeah, I just thought variance was different. Last time this came up, the previous owner, I didn't have to take the call, so I just spoke, so that's why I didn't realize.
Okay, well, it depends on what the process was at that time, Ms. Butler.
Your worship, to the council, if somebody has an issue with the variance, we sent out the letters, and we must receive a response in writing.
Excuse me.
So anyway,
We can walk.
so that's okay, I'm not gonna have a debate about it. What I am gonna say is we're not dealing with that right now because we don't have a quorum. And if you wish to get hold of the staff, then we'll get her through in the right channels and we'll deal with it, okay?
Yeah.
Very
Oh
happy
my
for her.
goodness, she didn't want.
So we'll move along in the agenda, if we can stop sneezing.
Yeah.
Next on our agenda is item 9, recommendation from staff for a request for council decision, read the development permit application, sorry, that's the wrong one, request for council development permit application, Red Mountain Hotel. Is there a mover to resolve that council approves the development permit with the, and I'm not gonna read the whole thing, with subjects to A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Moved by Fisher, seconded by Spear, discussion, Mr. Fisher. Ms. Moore, or Ms. Spear, sorry.
Well, as I said, I had all my markups on here. I just had a couple things, going through, you always have queries and questions, and I guess one of mine to you through to staff would be, that, firstly, the information is good, the report, et cetera, and the visual, attachments as in the look of the hotel. Couple of things. Firstly, were those concerns that were addressed by the design review panel, there were many with regards to form and all of that, siding and everything, did those all get resolved? Or are they in process, or
I
through
just-
you?
Yeah, I think that they have had meetings, and I don't know that they're all resolved, but I think we're talking about development permit here. We're
I
not
know.
talking about the building stage right now.
I know, but
But-
it's in the package, and
I know that, so I'm asking Ms. Lakeman for your comments, please.
Firstly, it wasn't the design review panel, just the design review consultant. He's the person
Yes.
who reviews it. And yes, there was a big discussion between their architects and the designer, and he was happy with the direction they were moving in terms of addressing those concerns. That's why the condition of the development permit says, now it says that the final drawings will be looked at by him and approved by him before they're given their
DP. Okay. Okay, thank you for that. And I guess my other question, which is, it might seem unrelated, but it is related, is that the siting of the hotel takes up a significant portion of the upper parking lot. So therefore, my question is, has the developer addressed the parking issues that in the grand design are across the highway, in fact, but how are they addressing that? The parking issues?
The developer only has to deal with the parking of the hotel, and
Mhm.
yes, that is addressed, there is enough
Mhm.
parking for the hotel.
Mhm.
As for the ski area parking, the ski area is responsible for doing that, and they are and know that they have to show the amount of parking that's required in the zoning bylaw, so wherever that will be.
Which is related to the actual
Which is
ski
not-
hill itself, not to the hotel development, obviously. Okay, and so when will that be addressed?
Well, the DP that you approved last week was to reconfigure the park,
Mhm.
so that is being addressed.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any further?
Oh, yeah, I
I
had
had a
that.
few
And
more.
when we talked about this last time, we brought up the parking issues, and it was as well, no, last time that thing wasn't being addressed, it was going to be in the zoning. And I have a bit of the same question, because the hotel isn't addressing the, the parking, but if the ski hill is going to, what's the mechanism for that, right? Because they have, they have their parking laid out, and I know it's, what is it, Schedule G in the Red Mountain Sector Plan requires
Mhm.
that parking be sized to accommodate the carrying capacity of the hill. So that's just expanded because grade's expanded. So one of my questions is, you know, what is that carrying capacity? And then the other is how, you know, will the hill be addressing that? I know, as Councillor Spearn said, I'm sorry, I've got a bit of a cold, you know, there's the plan for it to be across the lot, across the highway, but already this year, you know, there were crowding issues on the old Red Road. That road was parked up and kind of, you know, untenable that way. And I'm just wondering when this will happen, because I don't see them having to come back with anything. Like, if we grant this, what's the mechanism to get the hill to address the parking?
The development permit that you issued last week is the mechanism. So they
Okay.
know, as a condition of that, they have to meet the parking, and it's up
Okay.
to staff, it's staff's responsibility to ensure that they do much of all the other development permit conditions
Okay,
as well.
so that'll come back to us as a further step in that?
No,
No, it won't.
no.
Will we see the
It's
plan?
up to staff
Okay.
to ensure that it
Mhm.
happens.
Okay, but you'll probably give us some sort of drawing to explain it at some point. Okay, that's great. The other thing, I noticed that the security bond is for 125%, the cost of the landscaping, and I just want to be on record as saying we don't want that to be returned, as ways, some things in the past have, without some council involvement in that, right? Because we don't want to have one of those situations that we had elsewhere in town. And then I was also just curious, and idle curiosity, but who is actually doing this project? It was listed as WCH Holdings in one place with an address in Spring, Texas, an address in Houston, Texas, and then there's the William Cole Company, and I'm just wondering, who is this? Can
It's the guy from Texas, Spencer Clement, and the architects are the ones that are applying for the development permit.
Okay,
And the,
so the William Cole Company owns the site, and they've hired the architects, or the
Yeah.
architects are also part of, okay, they've hired the architects. Okay, so Spencer Clement is our main person there. And so the William Cole Company is this holdings company, that's all in the same. Okay, that's good, just curious about that. And then, the way this is looking now, is there going to be any drop-off for the general public up by the hotel? Is that?
that's not the intention right now.
Okay.
That's purely the entry and exit
For the hotel. And then the existing walkway from the lower lot up into the entry part of the ski hill will still be the same, or is that gonna be reconfigured somehow?
That will be pedestrian, and that will be reconfigured in order to get vehicle traffic up to the hotel. That is, the main access to the hotel is up
Okay.
in that area,
That
not
lot
exactly
one.
where it is
Okay,
now. That's why there's a lot of reconfiguring that needs to happen with the lower parking lot in order to provide the access to the parking lot. But if you look on the map, the shape of the access lot is kind of like a T,
yeah.
and it's up, the T is where the
So that's
access to the
lot
hotel.
one,
Lot
right?
11.
Lot 11, right, lot 11. So that's the,
access. It's meant to be for pedestrian and vehicle access.
both, they'll share it.
Yeah.
Right now it's strictly pedestrian,
Yeah.
and then will that other, that what's currently the road up, the access to the upper parking lot, will that not exist anymore? Okay, so that'll just be more parking down there. Okay, that's interesting. I think that, Yeah, that was it, thank you.
Great. Anything else?
Couple things,
Do
yeah.
you have anything, Carrie, before I go? No. Councilor Spearn.
So with all of that configuration that's gonna go on, and I know that this is not really where we're at, but I'm trying to visualize it all, because that, therefore, when people ask you questions, you've got it in your mind, more clearly. So what about the emergency vehicles? Obviously, there's gonna have to be, there'll be emergency in and out up there still, and everything. Okay, all right.
That's what that lot 11 is for too, those bollards that can be removed at the end of Slalom Creek.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right in there,
for
yeah.
emergency, as well as between Slalom Creek and the new hotel.
Mhm.
That's an emergency access lane through there too. Because you can't,
It's not, you can't really tell on here, right?
No.
It's here? It's right here?
Yes,
Right.
that's right.
It's right between the two?
There's a covenant there that says you can't build.
Okay. Oh, behind those two there, okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna say a couple things because, and this is kind of anecdotal, but, I actually really liked the look of that building as far as kind of the mining historical aspect of what it would look like at the mountain. So I guess I'm still a little bit concerned about that input from the design review consultant and whether or not, his suggestions are really what has to be. So that's just one of my kind of comments. And the other comment I have is that, I've lived in Rawson for 34 years now, and I skied at Red Mountain for pretty much most of that time. And I guess I worry a little bit when I see a building of this nature, and maybe the scale is just, maybe I don't have the scale right in my mind, but I've kind of got this impression that all of a sudden there's going to be this hotel situated in a place where we've always come and kind of gone freely as clients of Red. And I just get this sense that this is almost, how to word it appropriately, kind of almost closing out the public and making that space, and I'm saying this mostly because Christina's here, I guess, is that it worries me that it becomes this kind of urban elite situation with this hotel where the rest of the general public is, I don't know, not configured into the concept. That's how I'm going to say it. So I'm just putting that out there because I know Red Mountain and Red Resort has the right to do this. Obviously, all the things are in place, and we've already said so. But I just guess I get a little bit worried about when you've got this mountain, and then you're putting all of the built environment. That's what I'm trying to say. Built environment right there, convenient for some, but not necessarily convenient for the rest of Rawsoners. So that's just my input.
Thank you. Anything else? On the motion, all in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Moving right along. Information items. Is there a motion that the information items be received and acted upon as noted with the exceptions? Is there a mover? First of all, mover to that. Moved by Moore, seconded by Spearn. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Items. We have, so it's moved and seconded. You got that? Yeah. Okay. Items, please, Jill.
Well, D, because we have to make a decision on that. And I was curious about I.
D and I. Councilor Moore?
A and J.
J.
Okay, start out with A. Councilor Moore.
A, that was me, that's
Yeah.
the Compass, the article on the gas tax. I don't know if anyone followed the link through to look at the way a lot of the other communities are using their gas tax funds, but I'm curious to see what we now have about over $400,000 in our fund, and we haven't really had a fulsome discussion on the kinds of things that we'd like to do with that. They're meant to be for environmentally sustainable, outcomes of cleaner air, cleaner water. You can use it for, reduction of greenhouse gases. You can use it for roads, bike paths, trails, bridges, public transit, liquid and solid waste, and community energy projects. And I just thought, that money's been piling up. We get about 180-something a year, and we haven't done anything with it. And I know we've talked about it, but I don't think we've actually discussed it, and I'd like to know when we might do that.
Go ahead, Ms. Butler.
Your worship, I would suggest that we can bring something in June, and we can have a discussion about what we'd like to do with it moving into the 2015 budget year.
Great, that'd be great, thank you.
I think we should remember too, with, probably about $12 million in pipe bridge, $21 million in sewer upgrade to the Murray Park lift station. I don't think it'd be too hard to find a place to spend it unless you wanna spend it on some parks or something. I know, I'm just
I
kidding.
don't think it'll be hard to spend it, but I think we need to have the discussion
No,
of how we want
I
it
don't
directed.
disagree with that. I just think everybody, including the press, should be aware of this huge sewer issue that we have coming down.
Mhm.
Okay, that's A. Anything further on A, moving right along to D. D.
That's
Seven
me,
Summits,
yeah, so that was a request from Seven
Yeah.
Summits
Yeah.
with the 2 grade 12 students who'll be graduating from the Learning Center, so,
Do you have a recommendation?
well, I do. I just wanted to remind ourselves about the 2 down to Crow, which are 200 and 250, is that correct? 350 and 250, okay. Anyway, I was gonna make a motion that we, send off our best wishes and to the Seven Summits and make a, grant in the amount of $200.
Okay, I'll second that. I was gonna say 300.
Go for it.
What's the motion? 200, 300?
200.
200, okay. Discussion? You first.
Well, I mean, you know, at this point, there's only 2 students, maybe the amount would go up, you know, if we've got 250 and 350 down at Crow, maybe it should be 300, so I would be amiable to a friendly amendment if Councillor Moore wanted to do so. Somewhere in there, I think 200 is reasonable.
200 is on the table right now.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I just think we should support the school, and we only have 2 graduates this year, but it's a new program, it's developing. They've got another 20 kids signed up for next year in addition to what they had this year, so it's a growing program. And it is a school in our community, and I think we should support it.
Councillor Fisher?
You know, this is a heartstring one. I don't not support Seven Summits, but the majority of our grade 12 students are at Crow. The majority of them are. So saying that we're gonna send any money, I mean, if you did it proportionally, it would be a very small amount, and I don't disagree that. Let me just tell you the experience. My children are both at Crow, and they're having a great experience there. They still have tons of friends in Rossland, and the community sense that kids have from Fruitvale, including Trail and Rossland, is a good one. They all play on sports teams together. They're graduating. I'm going down to the graduation ceremony with our whole family, coming in from all over the place. I've got kids from Crow coming to my house now that I never knew existed, and I actually think it's great. And I might not have said that 6 months ago, but I'll speak against the motion. I think it should be a different dollar amount. It's an unfair balance against the other children or the graduates from Rossland that should have a fair crack at additional money if we're talking about additional money. So I'll vote against it. So.
I'd just like to point out to Councillor Moore's point that they have more children signing up there or whatever, that it's very important that we all understand this. The more people that come to that, what's the correct word?
Seven Summits Learning Center.
No, but what's the correct public independent school? The more people that go to that, and parents have to pay to go there, that's correct, right? Is that correct?
Yes, there's a fee, yes.
Yes, so the more children that
But if
are
you
taking
can't
it-
afford, you can.
Sorry, I'll
accept
talk
it.
and I'll.
Okay, well, you ask
If
the question.
you want to interrupt me later, you can. The more children that are taken out of the public school system, the more it hurts those in the public school system. As we know, school district budgets are based on enrollment, and if we encourage enrollment outside of the public school system, we are hurting students in the public school system. It's very important that we all are aware of that. I support the independent learning initiative, I do. However, I also believe that we have to be very careful what we support, and that we are not supporting competition for the public school system that hurts all of Rossland's children. Councilor Moore.
Okay, well, I think, I appreciate the sentiment there for sure, but I think it's also really important that we offer choice for our families that are here. You know, Seven Summits is a good magnet for the international program, and I know having spoken with a kid in the ski academy last year, he had said at the ski academy, if you'd been in Crow to do the ski academy, you wouldn't have come, because there's lots of other ski academies in different parts of the world. He's from Germany, he had his choice, right? He came here because it was in Roslyn. I think that is something that is valuable, that gives a different kind of an educational experience. And I understand what you're saying about, you know, you may be, you know, cutting from here to supply this other program, but I also think it's really important to have choice, and Seven Summits Learning Center gives choice, and I also think it's important to support the graduates there, so I'm voting in favor of the motion.
So we have a motion, it's $200. I'm going to call a question on the $200. All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Moving right along, aye.
Is that me?
That was both of us.
Is it?
Where was Sue?
We're not talking about H? I thought for sure you would put H on there.
She's organizing.
We're waiting for you to build a float, Carrie.
Yeah.
Just,
I think I can get a hold of a golf cart.
Yeah,
I know.
I was thinking of putting a bridge on the flatbed.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress.
With a broken pipe.
Okay, we're going to I, City
Uh,
of Roslyn request for qualifications.
So I just wonder where this was at.
Pardon me?
I asked for I, and I just wonder where this was at with this going out, the request for qualifications, where are we at with it? Why is it in this?
We're asking if
Go ahead.
council is happy with the request for qualifications, and we're gonna post it on BC bid tomorrow if you are.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that we were supposed to study it, it's just in the information package. Okay.
It's in your agenda. Can I make
Okay.
a comment on it?
Yes, you can make a comment on it.
Okay, I'm just curious why we're not seeking fees or anything about fees. I mean, I understand we wouldn't be getting detailed proposals at this point, but just to get an idea, ballpark of what people's fees are.
First of all, we're gonna go for a request for qualifications to find out who is out there that
Right.
can help us. And then based on what we get from that, we have a suspicion we may be looking at a bit of a monopoly here.
Okay. Okay. It just
Do
seemed,
that first.
okay. Okay, no, that's it.
Jay,
And your worship, before
Sorry.
we start with Jay, I had a late
Yes.
notification from the applicant that they lost 3 players this weekend, so they're down to 6, so they would like to amend their request to 1,224.
okay, and if I can, who brought that up, Jay?
I did.
Okay, can I, just before you go, can I ask this question? This fits with our policy, does it not? Okay, Councilor Moore?
Yeah, it fits with our policy. I was just curious of how much of that fund has been used this
Right.
year. Does it fit in?
This is the first one.
This is the first one, okay, that's good. And then also the differential of the 204, the other players don't pay anything other than the $100
Yes.
registration. So the 204 is the full amount that our kids pay on top of the others.
No, the
204 more.
Well, yeah, but the full amount that the trail kids don't pay.
Is 204.
Yeah,
That's correct.
okay, then that's it, I'm fine with it.
Okay, then that's, the recommendation is in there, isn't it? Or
Yeah.
not?
Number to
Mhm.
1,224.
Okay, but we'll amend that number subject to the street dropping out or whatever. Okay, everybody good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was, it, so on the motion, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Bylaw. Sorry, there's something back here. Bylaws, a request for a council decision, be it resolved that bylaw 2568, City of Roslyn Financial Plan be adopted. Is there a mover? Moved by Moore, seconded by Spearn. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Members' reports, we'll start,
Don't start with me, because I...
you always say that. I always
Well,
get that
because
before.
I lost my...
We'll start with Mrs. Moore.
stuff.
Sorry, Miss Moore.
Well,
Sorry.
it's because you always ask me first.
Well, then you should be ready by now.
I am ready, I just have to...
Okay, we recently got an email from a citizen inquiring about the evergreen deficiencies. And as I recall, I didn't go back and do a historic search for this, but as far as I recall, we got staff assurance that the deficiencies were being addressed. but the original intent of that motion that was in May of 2013 was that we get a report from staff saying, like, what happened with the whole Evergreen thing. And you don't have to leave, actually, because it'll just be a question to answer later, if you were gonna think of that.
It's my brother-in-law.
Yeah, but I mean, there's not gonna be
If you just keep going, fine, but if you ask any questions, I gotta go.
Okay. Well, I just asked my question, which is when we'll get a report.
Okay, that's probably fine.
Okay, so that's probably fine. But we were supposed to get a report that talked about background, current status, what deficiencies still outstanding, and what we're doing about it. So I'm just curious when we're gonna see that report, because as the citizen noted in the email, that motion was made a long time ago. So,
We'll get stuff to report on, I mean,
Your worship, just let you know, it won't be until
No.
June because our public works manager is.
okay, no, that's good. You know what? June, at least to know, is helpful. Okay, and then I had another question, when will we reconsider the motion to tender that we talked about for the as and when needed engineering contract?
Sorry?
Remember, we had a motion to reconsider whether we were going to go to tender with the as and when engineering contract. We had a motion to reconsider it, but we haven't brought the motion back to decide whether we want to tender it or not tender it.
Will it come on an agenda?
Okay. I mean, yeah. Yeah, okay. And then the other thing, we haven't seen our action item list for a while. I think we were supposed to get it
Add that down
sort
too.
of monthly, and we haven't seen it since
Worship, I
November.
have that on my to-do list and I can hopefully get that to you.
You have it on your action item list, good. Okay, thank you. And then this is a request I'd like to make that when, because I know the 2013 annual report is going to be done pretty soon. And when we get to the Sophie report, that the part that talks about staff compensation, that the employees that required to report, I think it's anyone over $75,000, is that still the change? Okay. Last year I had asked for the background of what went into those numbers, because they don't necessarily match, because they include things like payout of vacation pay or this other stuff. And I'd like to see the worksheet for that, so council understands what goes into those figures. You know, we're supposed to be fiscally responsible, we're supposed to know these things, so I would like to know. And do I need to make a motion for that? Like
Is that much staff time?
No, they gotta do it anyway,
They have to
right?
do it
'Cause
I
they-
know, but the worksheet.
No, we have to do a worksheet.
Have to do it anyway, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna say a motion.
So you're good, you'll see the worksheet.
Not needed, I'll see the worksheet, excellent. And then RDKB, I'm very concerned about the process in Trail with the sewer bridge. It is looking completely out of our control, and we're on the hook for 25% of it, and I understand our mayor will be going to the meeting, and we'll get an update, but that was one of the last things that Councillor Wallace had indicated she was going to do, was to get some of these details sorted out and report back to us, and now with her gone, that'll be
Well, first of
your
all, I
role.
have been at sewer meetings.
Yeah.
The past couple.
Yeah.
I have been there, I've asked some pretty hard questions, I've got lots of information from the regional district as to bridge option, crossing, all kinds of crossing options, and, back to when motions were made as to, I questioned if there was a motion to use a pipe bridge to cross the river. And they went back and sent me on the motion that was made way back in 11 that said that it was, the motion was to proceed with a pipe crossing. So I'm all over it. And the next meeting is May 6th. The issue is going to be what share we pay and what we pay for.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty hard to go back and say, we want you to tunnel under the river, or we want you to lay it on the bed, or we want you to go across the old bridge. It's going to be pretty hard to say that. What it won't be hard to say is which one of those may be cheaper than the pipe bridge. And the point that, I'm not sure should be in camera, I think we're good. The point that we have to make is the fact that, yeah, if we want to participate if we are going to participate in a pipe bridge across the river, we will participate to the amount, the lowest amount. In other words, if it's only to string a piece of pipe across the river, that's the baseline cost. So the big trick is going to be to figure out what the baseline is, and the rest is going to be the responsibility of the city of Trail.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So will it be the RDKB that is the one that is lining up the people to give us the bids on what it costs to string the pipe across? I mean,
There's a motion going back that the regional district partner with the city of Trail to do that engineering. And that motion was made 12, I think.
Okay. All right, well, I'm feeling very uncomfortable about that whole situation.
More uncomfortable than the rest of us.
Yeah, okay. And then, I don't think this is an in-camera thing either. We had a letter to the Ministry of Environment about our liquid waste management plan 2 options, and I'm just curious if we've gotten a response.
No, we've had no response.
No response. Okay, so are we following up with them? Because that's been a couple of weeks now, isn't it?
Been longer than a couple of weeks.
Yeah, okay. Okay, and then my last thing was, just curious about Esling Park. Have we heard back from the society, and will there be an update on that?
There's nothing to report right now.
Yeah, I have nothing to, we have heard back from them, but just with inquiries. and
Okay.
Nothing concrete at this time.
Okay, okay,
They
that's
have
great.
received a letter explaining to them what the motion was,
Yes, okay.
and I have not had a response to that letter.
All right, thank you very much. That's it.
Councilor Fisher?
No, thank you.
Councilor Spear?
Yeah. I just have a few things, not even a few. Myself and Councillor Moore met with Shelley about the city logo, a couple of days ago. And we sat down and looked at some changes that she's been working on, and then we kind of went back and forth on a few things. So that will be coming to council probably, hopefully the next council meeting. So we'll have to go through a little bit of a process, I think, again on that. Chamber of Commerce, I don't know, the meetings don't seem to be that consistent right now, and I don't know if it's because Jody's away so much, or if there's just not a lot on their agenda, or what's going on. But anyway, I have not been to a meeting because they haven't had one of late. And I did want to comment, and it's interesting that Councillor Fisher spoke about his kids, and you spoke with regards to the scholarship for the Seven Summits Learning Center, because I do want to report that I don't disagree with anything that has been said here tonight. But what I think we have to remember is that, and right now, as I speak, more and more of the kids from Roslyn are choosing to go down the Hilton Trail for grade 9 and for grade 8, but definitely the grade 9s. And if there's any grade 9s left next year, absolutely. If there's any grade 9s left at RSS for next year, that will be interesting, because there is a migration. And I feel very strongly politically that, everyone has their right to speak, obviously, and from their own experiences. But I keep going back to the fact that when you say, keep the money in the public system, the school board made a decision that actually, they shot themselves in the foot, because the $750,000 deficit is because of the kids that have chosen not to remain in the public system because of the decision that the school board made, which was only, if I might remind us, $140,000 difference per year to keep K-12 in Roslyn at RSS. And it could have been done, and it was feasible, and all the information and all the work that the Neighborhood Learning Group did, amongst others, showed that it was possible and was feasible. So when you say the money going out of the public system, there's a darn good reason for that, and that was the decision that was made by the school board that has left us, Rossland, with people who I know personally who have said they're not coming to Rossland, they're not moving their families here because of the situation with the schools. So, as far as sustainability and our community of Rossland, and not our personal little kind of stories that I have great respect for, I still think that the bottom line is we should have K-12 in Rossland in the public school system, of which it would have been had that decision not have been made by the school board. And the reason why we've got all of these schools now with not enough money in anybody's pot is because of that political decision. So I just want to make sure that I say that and reiterate it, because I know the kids that are going to Crow, are, most of them, not all of them, but most of them are finding their way. And they always have, and they always will in this region. But I still don't think that we need to neglect as a city council the fact that we have in our OCP and in our sustainability plan, K-12 in Rawson was the choice of this community, and very strongly put forth, I might add. Thank you very much.
How are we neglecting this?
Pardon?
How are we, you said we are neglecting this. How are we neglecting
No.
this?
Well, I mean,
That's what you said.
well, maybe bad choice of word, neglecting it. We're accepting something that's been very contrary. Some of us have accepted that you know, even though it's inscribed in the official documents of the city, we're not really speaking, a lot of us, very strongly in favor of what we should have spoken for. So.
Well, while it may be enshrined in the OCP and other documents, we don't make decisions for the school district or the school board. We are not-
Absolutely.
We are not the school board, and we are not the school district.
But not to say that we don't speak still favorably towards the fact that K-12 would be the best for our community as far as sustainable all-service community goes.
So you're suggesting that we reiterate that point?
I am reiterating it.
Okay, anything else?
No, I think that's good. Oh, when is Rusty coming, the guy, the horse, the new horse?
I don't know.
Three members report.
Apparently Rusty will be ridden into town in May sometime.
Thank you.
Who's Rusty?
The sculpture.
The sculpture. Did you think that I was, like, off my rocker?
I just thought you were talking about your favorite dog or something.
No, we're talking about our public art.
Okay, can I finish?
Yeah.
One thing I forgot to say, the LCCDT had their AGM, and I submitted the chair's little members report for that. Will come in our information package, so just, I don't need to say anything else about it, but just so you know that's coming.
Thank you.
Great.
Look forward to it.
That's good. Okay, yeah, there'll be more coming on the Auditor, or not the Auditor General, on the BC Mayor's Caucus that I was at Kimberley and Cranbrook Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There'll be more coming. There's a resolution out and things like that, but I'm not going to present it right now because part of the resolution, and part of the resolution deals with the review of the Auditor General of Local Government. I just thought I'd pass that along. And I have a note in to Ms. Joyce. I don't want that to get out there because I'd like it to be a surprise, but I do have a note in, so.
Okay, good.
That's all I report on right now, and then, are you,
We're so early, I'll stay for a little bit.
Okay, I need a motion that.
Because otherwise you don't have quorum.
I need a motion to recess doing camera, subject to section 91E, acquisition, disposition, and expropriation of land or improvement of the community charter. Okay, 1 minute break, and is that right?
And the AGLG, if we're gonna talk about that.
And the, well, yeah, and the AGLG, but, okay. So I need a mover to that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Move second, all in favor. Okay, 2 minutes, we're in camera. And sorry about the mix-up there on the